The dim lighting of the Galactic Council chamber cast an ominous glow over the assembled representatives, their faces etched with a mix of ambition and uncertainty. The air was thick with tension as the council debated their next move, a decision that would irrevocably shape the future of the known galaxy. At the head of the table sat Vonari, the Silurian counselor renowned for his calm demeanor and shrewd intellect. His piercing gaze scanned the room, settling on the weathered countenance of General Karan, a veteran of countless conflicts. "General, you have voiced your concerns about this proposed attack," Vonari began, his measured tone betraying none of the unease that gripped the chamber. "Yet the potential strategic advantages cannot be ignored. Surely the risks can be managed." Kiran shifted in his seat, the old scars on his face darkening as he frowned. "Councillor Vonari, I understand the allure of this objective, but I cannot in good conscience support it. Humans are not like the other races we have encountered. They are driven by an unrelenting determination that makes them a formidable and unpredictable adversary." A chorus of murmurs rippled through the council, some laced with skepticism, others tinged with unease. Tavos, the boisterous Rothan representative, slammed his fist on the table, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. "Humans, unrelenting. Bah, they are but a young species, barely understood. We have conquered mightier foes in the past. This outpost is but a speck on the galactic map, hardly worth the effort of discussion." Kiran's jaw tightened, the muscles in his neck straining as he fought to contain his rising frustration. "You underestimate them at your own peril, Tavos. I have witnessed their tenacity firsthand. When provoked, they will stop at nothing to defend their own, even against overwhelming odds." Vonari raised a hand, silencing the brewing discord. "General, your concerns are duly noted. However, the potential benefits of securing this outpost cannot be ignored. It serves as a crucial hub, controlling vital trade routes and communications networks. The Council has spoken. We will proceed with the attack." Kiran's gaze fell, his shoulders slumping ever so slightly. "Then I warn you, Councillor, you are awakening a sleeping giant. Humans do not forget, nor do they forgive. When they come for us, it will be with the full force of their might, and they will not rest until they have exacted their vengeance." The chamber fell silent, the weight of Kiran's words hanging heavy in the air. Vonari inclined his head, a silent acknowledgement of the general's concerns, before turning his attention to the rest of the council. "Then it is decided. Prepare the fleet for the assault. We shall strike swiftly and decisively before the humans have a chance to react." As the councillors filed out of the chamber, Kiran remained, his gaze fixed on the empty space where the holographic display had hovered. A deep, unsettling foreboding settled in the pit of his stomach, a premonition of the storm that was about to descend upon the Galactic Coalition. Lieutenant Darius Voss stifled a yawn as he surveyed the dimly lit control room of the human outpost. His second-in-command, Sergeant Mira Holt, approached with a steaming cup of coffee, offering it to him with a sympathetic smile. "Looks like another quiet night, sir," Mira said, her gaze sweeping over the series of displays that dominated the room. "I swear, this place is about as exciting as watching paint dry." Darius accepted the coffee, taking a sip and relishing the bitter warmth that coursed through him. "Don't let your guard down, Mira. You know as well as I do that the quietest moments are often the calm before the storm." As if on cue, one of the displays began to blink, its telltale alarm cutting through the stillness of the control room. Darius leaned forward, his eyes narrowing as he studied the readout. Multiple unidentified contacts approaching fast, he murmured, his fingers dancing across the console. "Weapons hot, Mira. We've got company." Mira sprang into action, her voice crisp and authoritative as she barked orders into the intercom. "All hands, this is not a drill. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Prepare for hostile engagement." Darius watched as the outpost defenses roared to life, the once dormant Sentinel drones activating and taking up defensive positions. Streams of data flowed across the screens, painting a picture of the approaching vessels. 6 ships, Mira, he reported, his brow furrowing in concentration. They're moving in a coordinated pattern, not your typical pirate raid. This looks like a planned assault. Mira's expression hardened, her jaw set with determination. Then let's give them a warm welcome, shall we? She turned to the intercom once more. All Sentinel units, engage the targets. Defensive systems, stand by to fire on my mark. Darius's hands moved with practiced precision, his years of training and experience guiding his actions. The Sentinel drones, sleek and nimble, streaked out into the void, their weapons systems primed and ready. Targets closing, Mira. They're opening fire. Plasma rounds, standard issue. The Sentinels are intercepting. True to Darius's words, the drones moved with lightning speed, their energy shields deflecting the incoming barrage. The human outpost's own defenses roared to life, cannons and turrets unleashing a hail of fire upon the alien vessels. Mira watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of awe and trepidation. They're good, Darius. But are they good enough? Darius's lips tightened into a grim smile. We're about to find out. The Sentinels are engaging, and the aliens are in for a rude awakening. The control room was alight with the glow of displays and the rumble of weapons fire. Darius and Mira stood their ground, their eyes fixed on the battle unfolding beyond the confines of the outpost. The fate of the human colony, and perhaps the entire sector, hung in the balance. The Galactic Council chamber had descended into a state of uneasy silence, the representatives exchanging troubled glances as the news of the failed attack on the human outpost spread. Vonari, the ever-composed Silurian counselor, rose from his seat, his movements measured and deliberate. This is most concerning, Vonari said, his brow furrowing ever so slightly. General Karan, you warned us of the humans' tenacity, and it appears your words were prophetic. Karan, his weathered features etched with a mixture of resignation and frustration, nodded solemnly. I did, Counselor, and I fear the consequences of our actions will be far graver than any of us imagined. Tarvos, the boisterous Rothan representative, slammed his fist on the table, his booming voice echoing through the chamber. Bah! Humans are nothing but upstart children, barely out of their planetary cradle. How dare they defy the might of the Galactic Coalition? Karan fixed the Rothan with a stern gaze, his voice calm but firm. You still fail to understand, Tarvos. Humans do not fight like other races. They are relentless, driven by an unwavering determination that knows no bounds. When provoked, they will stop at nothing to defend their own. Vonari raised a hand, silencing the growing murmurs. Then we must understand this human determination and devise a suitable response. Surely, with our superior technology and resources, we can overcome this obstacle. Kiran shook his head, his expression grim. That is where you are mistaken, Counselor. Humans do not measure success by technological superiority or raw military might. They fight with a ferocity that transcends such tangible assets. It is a spirit, a will that cannot be easily broken. The chamber fell silent, the weight of Karan's words casting a pall over the proceedings. Vonari's eyes narrowed, his mind racing as he sought to comprehend the gravity of the situation. If what you say is true, General, then we face a grave threat indeed. The humans have now tasted our aggression and will undoubtedly seek to retaliate. We must prepare ourselves to the consequences of our actions. Tarvos scoffed, his bravado still seemingly undimmed. Prepare? For what? A few pitiful human ships. We have faced far worse, Vonari. We will crush them, just as we have crushed countless others who dared to defy the Galactic Coalition. Karan fixed the Rothan with a withering stare. You still do not understand. Humans do not crush easily. They will not stop until they have exacted their vengeance, and they will not rest until every last one of us has been destroyed. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of voices, some laced with defiance, others tinged with growing unease. Vonari raised his hand, silencing the discord once more. Enough. We must consider our next steps carefully. General Karan, I trust your judgment in these matters. What would you suggest we do? Kiran's gaze swept across the council, his expression grave. Counselor, the time for action is now. We must fortify our defenses, prepare our forces for the coming onslaught. And above all, we must never, ever underestimate the humans again. Vanari nodded, the weight of the decision heavy upon his shoulders. Then so be it. We shall make ready, for the storm is coming. And when it arrives, we must be prepared to weather it, or be swept away in its wake. The council members dispersed, their faces etched with a mixture of determination and trepidation. Kiran remained, his eyes fixed on the empty space where the holographic display had once hovered. He knew that the die had been cast, and the fate of the Galactic Coalition now hung in the balance. The vastness of space above the Galactic Coalition's central system was once again transformed, a swirling mass of activity as a massive human fleet materialized from the shadows. At the helm of the lead ship, the Tempest, Captain Daniel Erickson stood with a steely gaze, his hands clasped behind his back as he surveyed the unfolding scene. "Status report, Commander Reynolds," Erickson said, his voice calm and measured. "All ships are in formation and weapons are primed, sir," Reynolds replied, his fingers dancing across the tactical display. "The alien fleet is scrambling to respond, but their defenses are in disarray." Erickson's lips tightened into a thin line. "Good. Send a message to the Galactic Council. Let them know we've arrived, and that the time for negotiation has passed." Reynolds hesitated for a moment, his eyes betraying a flicker of uncertainty. "Sir, are you certain this is the best course of action? Perhaps we could still—" Erickson raised a hand, silencing his second-in-command. "The decision has been made, Commander. The humans they provoked are here, and we will not be denied our retribution." Reynolds swallowed hard, nodding his understanding. He turned to relay the message, his movements tinged with a reluctance that was quickly overshadowed by the gravity of the situation. In the Galactic Council chamber, the representatives were in a state of growing panic as the human fleet came into view. Vonori, his composure slipping ever so slightly, addressed the assembly, his voice tinged with a rare note of urgency. "This is unprecedented. We must act quickly to bolster our defenses, to coordinate our forces. Tarvos, Roche, rally your fleets and prepare for the assault." The Rothan and the Kraft representatives exchanged a glance, their expressions a mix of defiance and trepidation. Tarvos leaned forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over the table. "Vonari, you cannot be serious. We are the Galactic Coalition, the mightiest alliance of civilized races in the galaxy. We will not cower before these upstart humans." Roche, the Kraft counselor, nodded in agreement, his mandibles clicking in a gesture of resolve. "Tarvos is right. We have faced far greater threats than this. We shall meet the humans head-on and crush them beneath the might of our combined forces." Kiran, who had remained silent throughout the exchange, finally spoke, his voice cutting through the discord like a blade. "Fools, you still do not understand the gravity of the situation. The humans are not like the enemies you have faced before. They will not relent. They will not surrender. They will fight until the last of us has been destroyed." The chamber fell silent, the weight of Kiran's words hanging heavy in the air. Vonari raised a hand, silencing the brewing argument. "Enough. Tarvos, Roche, ready your fleets, but do not engage the humans until I give the order. We must devise a strategy that takes into account General Kiran's warnings." As the representatives dispersed, Vonari turned to Kiran, his expression one of growing unease. "General, I fear you may be right. The humans have come, and they do not appear interested in negotiation. What do you believe we should do?" Kiran's gaze hardened, his eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. "Prepare for the worst, Counselor. For if we fail to stop the humans here, nothing in the galaxy will be safe from their wrath." Outside, the human fleet moved with a sense of purpose, its vessels positioning themselves around the Galactic Coalition's central system. Captain Erickson watched the alien ship scramble to mount a defense, his expression betraying a hint of grim satisfaction. "So be it," he muttered under his breath. "You had your chance. Now it's our turn." With a single nod, he gave the order, and the human ships unleashed a devastating barrage upon the unsuspecting alien forces, signaling the beginning of a conflict that would forever alter the balance of power in the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber was in a state of utter pandemonium as the news of the human fleet's devastating assault spread. Tarvos, his normally boisterous demeanor replaced by a growing panic, slammed his fist on the table, his voice trembling with a rare display of emotion. This is impossible. How can mere humans be overwhelming our defenses with such ease?" Kiran, his weathered features etched with a grim resolve, fixed the Rothan representative with a steely gaze. "I told you, Tarvos, you underestimated them. Humans do not fight like any other race we have encountered. Their determination, their sheer tenacity, is the equal of any technological advantage we may possess." Vanari, his brow furrowed in concentration, turned to the tactical displays, his eyes scanning the rapidly unfolding battle. The human ships are maneuvering with a precision and coordination that we have not seen before. They are systematically targeting our weaknesses, neutralizing our defenses with ruthless efficiency. Rosh, the craft counselor, growled in frustration, his mandibles clicking in a gesture of agitation. "Then we must commit our full strength to this engagement. We will overwhelm them with our numbers, crush them beneath the might of the Galactic Coalition." Kiran shook his head, his expression grim. "That will not work, Rosh. The humans are not fighting to conquer or subjugate. They are fighting for survival, for vengeance. They will not stop until every last one of us has been destroyed." Vanari raised a hand, silencing the growing discord. "Then we must devise a new strategy, one that takes into account the true nature of our enemy. Kiran, you've fought the humans before. What would you suggest?" Kiran's eyes narrowed as he contemplated the situation, the weight of his experience etched into every line of his weathered face. "We must be prepared to adapt, to think beyond the traditional tactics of the Galactic Coalition. The humans will not be defeated by a simple show of force. We must outmaneuver them, outthink them, and be willing to take risks that we have never considered before." Tarvos snorted derisively, his bravado already crumbling in the face of the human onslaught. "Outmaneuver them, outthink them. Kiran, you speak as if they are our equals, as if they are not mere primitives to be crushed beneath our heel." Kiran's eyes hardened, his voice cutting through the din like a blade. "That is precisely your problem, Tarvos. You continue to underestimate them, to dismiss their capabilities. And now we are all paying the price for your arrogance." Vanari raised a hand, silencing the brewing argument. "Enough. Kiran is right. We must adapt, or we will be swept away. Rosh, Tarvos, ready your fleets, but hold your positions. Kiran, I want you to work with our best tacticians to devise a new strategy. We must find a way to turn the tide of this battle, or all will be lost." As the council members dispersed, Kiran remained, his gaze fixed on the tactical displays. The human ships continued their relentless assault, their movements precise and coordinated, each strike a testament to their unwavering determination. Kiran knew that the fate of the Galactic Coalition now rested on the outcome of this pivotal engagement, and he was determined to ensure that his dire warnings would not come to pass. "Humans," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "You have our attention now. Let us see if we can rise to the challenge you have presented." Outside, the human fleet pressed its advantage, its ships unleashing a devastating barrage upon the Galactic Coalition's beleaguered defenses. Captain Erickson stood on the bridge of the Tempest, his expression grim but unwavering. "Hold nothing back," he commanded, his voice ringing with a steely resolve. "We will not rest until they have been brought to their knees." The human ships surged forward, their weapons blazing, as they drove deeper into the heart of the Galactic Coalition's territory, a testament to the unbridled fury of a species that had been provoked beyond the point of no return. The Galactic Council chamber was in a state of utter disarray as the news of the human fleet's relentless advance filtered in. Vonari, his normally composed demeanor fraying at the edges, turned to Kiran, his eyes betraying a rare glimpse of desperation. "General, your strategy, is it working? Can we turn the tide of this battle?" Kiran's expression was grim, the lines on his weathered face darkening as he contemplated the unfolding events. "I fear it may be too late, Counselor. The humans are pressing their advantage with a ruthless determination that we have not seen before. Our fleets are being decimated, our defenses crumbling in the face of their onslaught." Tarvos, his bravado finally shattered, slammed his fist on the table, his voice laced with a mix of anger and fear. "This cannot be. We are the Galactic Coalition, the mightiest alliance in the galaxy. How can a mere human fleet be overwhelming us so easily?" Kiran fixed the Rothan representative with a steely gaze, his voice calm, but tinged with a hint of resignation. "I have told you, Tarvos, time and time again, you have underestimated the humans, and now we are all paying the price. Their determination, their unwavering will to fight, is unlike anything we have ever encountered before." Rush, the craft counselor, leaned forward, his mandibles clicking in a gesture of growing unease. "Then what do you propose we do, Kiran? Surely, there must be a way to turn the tide of this battle, to salvage some semblance of victory." Kiran's gaze swept across the chamber, his eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. "I'm afraid there is no easy solution, Rush. The humans are not interested in negotiation or compromise. They have come to exact their revenge, and they will not stop until they have achieved total victory." Vonari's face hardened, his mind racing to find a way out of the impending disaster. "We must try, Kiran. We cannot simply surrender in the face of this onslaught. Surely, there must be some avenue, some strategy that we have not considered." Kiran's expression softened, a glimmer of respect shining through the grim determination that had marked his features. "I admire your resilience, Vonari, but I fear it may be misplaced. The humans are not interested in negotiation or compromise. They have come to destroy us, and they will not rest until that goal has been achieved." Tarvos, his desperation palpable, rose from his seat, his massive frame casting a shadow over the table. "Then we must rally our remaining forces, Kiran. We must make one final desperate stand against these human invaders." Kiran shook his head, his expression reflecting a deep, profound sorrow. "It will not be enough, Tarvos. The humans have tasted our blood, and they will not be satisfied until they have consumed us entirely. Our only hope now is to sue for peace, to see if we can negotiate some form of truce before they wipe us from the stars." Vonari's eyes widened, the implications of Kiran's words dawning on him. "Peace? Kiran, you cannot be serious. The humans have attacked us, destroyed our fleets. How can we possibly negotiate with them now?" Kiran's gaze hardened, his voice turning resolute. "Because, Vonari, we have no other choice. The humans are not like any enemy we have faced before. They are driven by a fury that knows no bounds, a thirst for vengeance that will not be quenched until we have been utterly destroyed. Our only hope now is to appeal to whatever sense of reason they may possess, to see if we can find common ground before it is too late." Tarvos opened his mouth to protest, but Vonari raised a hand, silencing the Rothan representative. "Very well, Kiran. I will send a message to the human fleet, requesting a ceasefire and the opportunity to negotiate. If there is any chance of salvaging this situation, we must take it." As the council members dispersed, Kiran remained, his eyes fixed on the flickering tactical displays that showed the human fleet's relentless advance. He knew that the fate of the Galactic Coalition now rested on the outcome of these negotiations, and he silently prayed that his warnings had not come too late. Outside, the human ships continued their inexorable march, their weapons blazing as they carved a path of destruction through the Galactic Coalition's defenses. Captain Erickson stood on the bridge of the Tempest, his expression hardening as a hail of communication from the beleaguered Council reached his vessel. Erickson's fingers tightened around the edge of the console, his knuckles whitening with the force of his grip. "The time for negotiation has passed," he murmured, his voice laced with a cold, steely determination. "You had your chance, and you chose to ignore our warning." With a terse nod, Erickson relayed the message to the rest of the human fleet, his words echoing with a resolute finality that left no room for compromise. The human ships surged forward, their weapons unleashing a devastating barrage that shattered the last vestiges of the Galactic Coalition's resistance. As the battle raged on, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted, marking the beginning of a new era, one in which the once mighty Galactic Coalition would be forced to reckon with the formidable might and unwavering determination of humanity.